Oklahoma Sooners are in a rough spot going into their bye week, but there is still hope to turn this season around. Let's talk about how they got here, what's going wrong, and how to fix it. How does a team go from winning 6 straight conference titles to being near the bottom of the Big 12 standings? Let's see. Your winningest coach by percentage in the history of your program leaves overnight, taking your superstar quarterback and other key pieces with him. This results in loads of players hitting the portal, while other key contributors declared for the NFL. All in all, the Sooners returned 5 starters on offense and 3 on defense. But all was not lost. Oklahoma brought in former defensive coordinator Brent Venables, offensive mastermind Jeff Lebby, and hit the transfer portal to help temporarily stop the bleeding. When all was said and done, nearly half the roster hadn't taken a snap in an Oklahoma uniform. Now that's not saying this team was left with no talent. It still stacks up as one of the most talented teams in the Big 12, but it left room for growing pains, and turns out there were a lot of them. We may have gotten tricked by how easily the Sooners glided through the first 3 games of the year, but when Big 12 play opened up, it was a whole other story. What's going wrong? Defense, or lack thereof. Sooner fans were on cloud 9 when Venables was hired because it meant defense was back in Norman. No more speed D. It was time to build a defense that would be the strength of the program and carry that momentum into the SEC. Unfortunately, this hasn't worked out so far. A lot of the talk I've heard from people close to the program break it down like this. The defense Venables runs isn't easy. You need to make the right read, correct adjustments, and be at the right place at the right time. No relying on pure talent. If you do all the little things right, the defense is absolutely nasty. But if you don't, you get what we've seen over the past few games. One of, if not the most embarrassing stretches of defensive performances in Sooner history. They sit at the bottom of the Big 12 in almost every defensive category. And if you only take into account performance in conference games, it's a dumpster fire. Unfortunately, the offense has struggled to put that fire out. Offensively, Oklahoma just hasn't been what we're accustomed to. Let's face it, Sooner fans were spoiled by Lincoln Riley. We can say what we want about his sometimes suspect play calling, but I'd be lying if I didn't expect that offense to score on almost every single possession. While Jeff Lebby has all the credentials, the offense just hasn't looked the part so far this season. When it gets rolling, it can be dangerous. Take most of the Kansas game, for example. But far too often, we see it sputter to a premature stop. How do we go about fixing this thing? Defensively, it feels like you have 2 options. Option 1, put your players in the best position to succeed. This would require making some adjustments and concessions on that side of the ball. Maybe you simplify the play calling. Maybe you limit adjustments that need to be made so players can focus on making plays. I just don't see this happening. I'm thinking option 2. Venables has preached playing to the standard since he stepped foot in Norman, and the standard does not bend or break, even if the defense does. So it looks like until the light switch gets flipped on, or until a new crop of recruits hits Norman, the defense will continue to be coached how it has been, and until players can figure out how to flourish in the system will highlight their deficiencies. The offense seems a lot easier to fix. We've learned that similar to the defense, the offense has a strict plan they want to stick to, and if a player can't play up to the standard to run that plan, then the offense is screwed. It still blows my mind that there isn't a quarterback without the name Gabriel on their jersey that can run this offense. But the fact that QB1 was basically Willis against Texas was telling. Key to the offense? Honestly, just having a healthy Dillon Gabriel. Yes, he's far from perfect, and he does miss some simple passes that make you scratch your head, but he also hits on some beautiful throws, and I think I speak for all Sooner fans when I say it's great to have 8 back and hope he stays healthy the rest of the season. As to whether or not I think the Sooners can turn it around, not sure. I still come into every game thinking that Oklahoma has a good chance of winning, but my expectations have been significantly dropped. It does help that the team goes into the bye week with a win over Kansas, but even that game didn't answer all the questions we have. At this point, goals have been shifted, but I do think the team finishes the year bowl eligible, just not the bowl we were hoping for when the season began. Dillon Gabriel may have the keys to this offense, but who are the best Sooner quarterbacks of all time? Check out this video for my list and see how it stacks up with yours. As always, have a great day and see y'all at the next one.